Rosie, you can see I've got a lot of seafood here in front of me, and this will be a gorgeous, delicious lasagna, but we need to make the sauce to start off with.
This is like my hometown. I go for a little walk in Cornwall and I see all these little things.
You dive into the ocean and grab them out.
That too. Get my snorkel on all the time.
Now, I've sliced up some garlic and I've got some onion here that I'm dicing nice and fine. This is a sauce, a white sauce that I'm putting with the lasagna, but instead of using milk, I'm going to use stock and white wine. So my pan's here, nice and hot, and I'll add some butter to that, a nice big dollop of butter. About 120 grams of butter goes in there, and I'll add my onion and garlic to the pot here and get them sweating off nice and easily.
Yeah.
Now, I'll show you this, Rosie. I'll show you this at the start. I've steamed off these mussels here, and I've taken the beards off them, and you just need to take them out of the shell. Once you've taken them out of the shell, you just pop them in the bowl here like this. Okay, I'll pop that to you over there. The same with pippies are great, or vongole we like to call them. I just steam them off the same way we do with the mussels, and then you pop them out of the shell as easy as that. My grandmother used to make a dish with vongole when I was a little boy with spaghetti, some capers in there, some olive oil, a little bit of butter to make it even more delicious.
Lovely.
I remember that dish and it was one of my favourite things.
Now, I used to paint these shells and sell them at the bottom of the garden.
Yes,
that doesn't happen anymore.
One of those knick-knacky sort of things that people would sell, and you find them on the shelves or above the fireplace on the mantel there.
My mum always said they were good, but I don't think they were.
Really?
Oh, well.
Your mum would have said anything you did was good. That's what mums are for. Now, stir that around. That's simmering along beautifully and will sweat down nicely. Rosie, I've got some tomatoes there. Cut them in half for me. And I've got some capers as well. If you can pull about a tablespoon of capers out, pop them in a little bowl there. Now, Rosie, this is really nice seafood from Manny, from Planet Seafood.
Manny? That could be my long-lost brother, couldn't it?
Well, that's your nickname, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There we go, Manny. Now, can you pass me some of the flour? Because I'm going to thicken the sauce up, Rosie. Now, I put about the same amount of flour as I do the butter. So about 120 grams of flour goes in there. And what I do, Rosie, is stir it around until you get a paste. We call that a roux. Looks a bit lumpy because of all the onion and garlic that's in there. And you can see once all the butter has absorbed all of that flour, you get this big lumpy thing here.
Yeah.
And this tells us we're ready to add the next stage. Now, normally, as I said before, when you're making this type of sauce, you would put in milk. But we're not going to do that. We're going to add some stock. So over there, if you want to grab me one of those jugs there, we're going to add some white wine to start with, about a cup of white wine. In that goes, and you just stir it around until the lump of flour and butter soaks up all of that liquid. And we just keep adding the liquid a little bit at a time. So this is the mussel liquid that I steamed the mussel in. I kept all the liquid, make sure I strained it off so there's no bits and pieces in there, and I just stir it in there. It smells great, doesn't it?
It's really good.
Should smell like the sea. Now, if you can pass me some more of that stock over there, the next jug along, pour that in there. I've got a little bit of liquid, I'll pour that into there.
You like your liquid today, don't you?
You need plenty of liquid in here. And this is the thing, when you're making a seafood lasagna and we're using instant sheets, they soak up a lot of liquid, so you need to have a sauce that's quite thin. Now, you just stir this around a little bit, Rosie, keep adding liquid, and then once we've got a nice thick sauce, we'll be ready to put the whole thing together. OK, Rosie, the sauce is ready to go. All the herbs are picked. I'll put another little bit of butter in there because we like butter. It makes everything taste good.
Yeah.
In goes the parsley and the chives that have been chopped. And
Want the basil?
No, we'll put the basil
later?
in separately. I'll stir this in. I like to add fresh herbs to the end of a sauce like this. Now, you can see that's looking good. And you can see it's not a thick sauce. It's still quite thin, and that's important when we're using the lasagna sheets. Right, Rosie, ready to go? I'm going to grab this dish here. If you can grab the lasagna sheets
You
there.
got it.
And this is the trick. At the bottom layer, I'm going to put some of this sauce, and I'll just spoon some of that on there because we need some liquid on the bottom to stop the lasagna sheets from sticking to the bottom. Pop that on there. Grab
Nice
a few sheets
foundations.
up. Exactly, and we can just pop it on there like that. Now, if you've got a round dish like I've got, you can actually break the sheets up and put them on there.
It's never been right since I started working with you.
Oh! It goes everywhere.
Exactly why.
Be careful when you do it. Now, this part here, we'll just add a little bit more sauce to the top of it just to make it even more delicious. Spread that around like this. And now, Rosie, we're going to pop the seafood straight on there. I'll put some clams on there, sprinkle them around. Plenty of seafood on here. Plenty of mussels. We'll sprinkle them around as well. Some scallops. I love scallops. These are straight out of Tasmania. Some of the best scallops in the world come from Tasmania.
Yeah, I know.
And of course, some salmon goes on there, a few pieces of diced salmon. I made sure the bones are out of there. A little bit of rockling goes on there as well, and some calamari, a little sprinkling of that.
Wow.
Rosie, some capers on there. Sprinkle some capers on there as well.
This feels like a real celebration dish.
It is, it is. And you can probably think about, you know, Christmas time, Australians like to get together. We love to have seafood. And being Italian, there's always pasta. So you could have this as a combination Christmas dish, pasta and seafood all together in one tray. Take it to someone's house and they're going to be really happy with you. Rosie, I've got some tomato passata there. And I've got a spoon. Just spoon a couple of dollops around there. Give it a bit of a tomatoey sort of flavour. And you've got some fresh tomatoes. You can sprinkle some of them on there as well. And I'll put a little bit more of this sauce on the top. Now, Rosie, we will just continue layering this up till we get it to the top, and we'll have lovely sheets of lasagna through the middle, plenty of this seafood. Now, I'll have to be careful not to bust this up. We'll just break it close to here. There we go. Got to be careful with that. Push it down like that, and this will come together beautifully. That's for you, Rosie. This one's for me. Here we go. Break it into there, and off we go. So, Rosie, the last little bit of sauce goes on the top there, and I've filled this dish to maximum level. Look at all the herbs in that sauce, and just with the back of the spoon, spoon it round to cover all those lasagna sheets. Now, this will cook in the oven. The lasagna sheets will soak up all that liquid. The seafood will cook. This will take about 25 to 35 minutes. 185 degrees Celsius. This will be the most delicious seafood lasagna in the entire world. Rosie, ready to go.
Wow, that is epic, isn't it?
It is. Lots of seafood in there and it's cooked beautifully. I'll just cut it like this.
Feed a soccer team.
Well, soccer team or, you know, football team. You could feed a whole lot of people with this for sure. Just cut that little piece out there. It smells like being down the wharves, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Like down at Manly Wharf.
There we go. Just
all my buddies waiting for me.
Oh, look at that. Lots of seafood in there. Lots of chunky bits in there, and lots of liquid as well, which is all the juices coming out of it, which is really, really important. Pop that in there like that.
Now, this might be the most premium lasagna I've ever witnessed.
It is.
So I want to know how it tastes.
I'm going to taste a little bit of salmon.
Was all that trouble worth it? Oh, Manny, he did a good job, didn't he?
I'll have to have another taste of it, Rosie, just to make sure this bit's good.
Always worth being friends with a fishmonger.
The flavour's incredible. Lots of seafood going through there. And the pasta's cooked to perfection. It's soaked up all that liquid. It is a cracking little dish. You keep talking and I'll finish this off.